Yes, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I think today is the principal's meeting, and we'll wait for Azam Bhai. Has he logged in?
Yes, sir, inshallah.
Can we start the program?
Inshallah, sir. Sir, inshallah.
So, can we do Kirat, inshallah? Brother?
Okay, sir. Inshallah, sir. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الرحمن الرحيم. مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
Jazakumullah khair. Bhai. Has Azam Bhai joined?
Yes, sir, I called him, inshallah. 1 minute, sir. Give me 1 minute. I will call another time.
Yeah. Inshallah, this is our first meeting for principals for School Excellence Project for this academic year. So, inshallah, what we had last year, all the schools which participated, I'm sure in the second edition for this academic year, we definitely are looking forward to better participation as well as, more improved. Because we already know what we are supposed to be doing, and what we had, the benefits, we can know the drawbacks wherever we can improve, inshallah. So action research was something which was new last time and new for everybody. So we did not have much participation as what we had expected. And Amina ma'am is also already opened the queries for different titles, and alhamdulillah, we've got quite a good response. So today we will be discussing about action research, inshallah. Is Amina ma'am, are you there? You can raise your hand if you're there. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Ji, walaikum assalam, ma'am. So your session is there right now? Topic? Sure. You need to be made co-host. Yeah, your co-host
Yes,
now.
sir. Just give me 5 minutes, sir. I will start after 5. I'll settle down and I'll start.
Okay. Okay. So until that time, inshallah, what we have today, the morning programs which you are taking part. Dr. Fuzel has intelligent, innovative techniques in education. So he has been showing his presentations, and one of the presentations and that was on productive failure. So we'll be seeing a TED talk on productive failure today, inshallah, after Amina ma'am's action research, inshallah. Yes, ma'am, you are the co-host now.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My apologies for being late in this meeting. Samir bhai, is the class over?
We had the Kirat, yes, and I've informed the participants that today we are going to have one TEDx talk on productive failure. One of the things what Dr. Fuzel is showing in his innovative techniques series in the mornings.
Yeah.
So, which even teachers can see if they can see all the other sessions. And Amina ma'am is saying she's going to take few minutes now. It's already up. She's settling down, and then she'll show her presentation on action research. And in this second edition, action research is what we expect, inshallah, to go better this time, because it was new. Not everybody had understood it well, but we can do it much better now.
Yes. So, are you going to start with your TEDx talk? Alhamdulillah. Thanks for that introduction. And yesterday we had the SCO committee meeting, and in which we have decided these are the few things which we would like to discuss today. One is a common problem of all the schools, except barring one or two schools. Most of the schools have this problem, right? The English language communication skills. It is lacking in most of our schools. There are various reasons due to, first of all, we don't get teachers with fluency in English. Majority of most of the schools we don't get, especially those who are located in rural areas and villages. You find that it's very, very rare. And first, it becomes a responsibility of management to teach English to the teachers first. So forget about the metro cities. Even in metro cities, they find it difficult to get right type of teachers who are very good, fluent in English. So what we have taken is, in this academic year, there will be a focused effort on this English language communication development, inshallah. So we will soon announce the commencement of online weekly classes. Mostly that will be on Saturdays from 3 p.m. So I request all the coordinators of different schools to organize and speak to your principals and see that the most of the, since large number of teachers from your school take benefit out of this initiative. So this is one. And second thing, every school has its own activities which will enhance English language communication. For example, in the last week, we listened from, I forgot the school. Every day they used to, word of the day and one idiom and a word was to be discussed. And every day a new word is learnt and the word is used in their communication. And they also understand one idiom every day. So that has really helped them. That's what the speaker said. So like this, every school has an initiative to enhance English language communication skills. So if you have a similar initiative which has given you the desired result, so I request the schools to share that, right? So that we can definitely utilize it. All the schools will make use of that strategy. This is about English language communication development. As you all must be aware, we have a trainer, and she's a very dedicated teacher also. She works in a reputed school, Ms. Farhat. So we are in discussion with her, inshallah. Mostly Saturdays we'll have regular classes for our teachers. So we'll work, we'll have a discussion with her, and what type of activities and what type of programs she is going to have. We'll have a discussion, then we'll announce it, inshallah. So this is about, and this will be also taken as a topic for our action research. That Dr. Amina Saida will guide you how to collect the pre-intervention data, then what are the interventions, then the implementation part of the interventions, then how to measure the improvement in English language communication, and the post-intervention data collection. Then we'll have the comparison, then we'll come out with results, right? So, so different interventions will have different results. So we can pinpoint and say that this particular intervention has yielded more results, right? Better results. So that could be one action research topic. The next thing, we started the youth empowerment program, and our school delivered the program on 24 June. And fortunately, the attendance was poor. Another thing, even our own school students did not listen to it. So we wanted to have certain guidelines for all this youth empowerment program. So the program was really good, and our judge for that event, Samir Bhai, was there, and he was sharing his comments, and it was really very positive. And the children have scored 22 out of 25 in their rubrics, what we had released. So in this, what happens, the children, they delivered a nice program. So we suggested that this same program will be repeated at least after 2 months, because that was quite, it had a lot of takeaways from those lectures. So inshallah. So the next strategy, what we decided is, every school will have a set of students participating in this youth empowerment program. It's not that you are, for example, in our school, only the students, those who are participating, they will prepare and they will present, and sometimes our students listen to that. So now we'll make it mandatory, at least few classes listen to these lectures. While listening, they will come with a notebook and a pencil or a pen, and they will take notes, and there will be some discussion about that. So this has to happen in all the schools, inshallah, SEP schools. So this will make them serious listeners, and they will also learn something out of the program. As a next step, all these PowerPoint presentations will be shared to all the schools. So the teachers, SEP coordinators, can select, the valid points or the points which are really important. So all these points could be summarized, and each school can present that the summary in one of their morning assemblies. This is the second guideline. Third guideline is all the schools must have, participation. See, we are going to release, the schedule for all the schools. So your school must be ready with your topics, and see that you deliver it. And your own school and a morning assembly, you can repeat the topics one by one. So that will be a more, very effective learning process. for entire school. It's not that a group of children listen to that in the audiovisual hall, the rest of them are ignorant. That will not happen. Okay. So this is about youth empowerment. So youth empowerment for the month of July. Our ma'am from Huda School, she will release the schedule, inshallah. So based on that, we request the schools to prepare themselves to present that program. This is about youth empowerment. The Akhlaq chart theme for the month of July is immediately I'll share. I request you all to, meticulously follow this, right? Just a minute. Let me share this program now itself. Caring is the theme for the month of July, and I'm just sharing it immediately. So you all can implement this Akhlaq chart caring. So here again, we require a conscious effort in implementing this, right? So first of all, each activity of a class must be intimated to their parents. So all the class teachers will intimate the activities to their parents. This is one. The chart of appropriate class chart will be placed in the Akhlaq corner of each class and the marking sheet also, right? So this is point number 2. And the higher class students, like 12th standard students, like you can delegate the responsibilities to all the students. Like they will go 2 to 3 students, they will go to all the classes. Like, for example, student A and B, they will go to LKG and explain what the children are expected to do for this month. So they will explain. So this is one way of improving their public speaking skills. And in front of LKG students, they will stand and talk. And one set of students will go to next class. Like that, you can give chance to all the students so that they go and speak about the activities of each class in the respective classes, right? So then all this Akhlaq chart and the chart pertaining to each class, whether it is placed or not, this will be checked by the 10th standard implementation team. The 11th standard, they will do, they'll be the monitoring team, and they will have the planning team. Okay, what they will do is, for example, if there is a collective effort, for example, school cleaning program is there, full school campus cleaning program is there. If it is there, so when it is to be done, what type of preparations to be made, who all are to be involved, what type of equipment is required, all this planning they will do. So 10, 11, 12 students will take all the leadership roles, and also they will do their activities appropriate to their class. So take this seriously and don't select 1 or 2 activities and give it to the entire school. That is wrong. Okay. Every class has age appropriate activity. Let them do only that. And if they continue in our school for the whole, the 14 years, from LKG to 12th standard, they will cover the entire chart. They'll become a wholesome personality, well-rounded character will be built, inshallah. Okay, so that's one. So these are the things which I had to discuss. One is the English language communication development program. We'll have a workshop on every Saturday, and the dates will be announced soon. And the different activities taken up by schools could be shared in the same group. So, all the schools can emulate that. So even you can present that as your reflection session also, right? The best practices. The second thing is youth empowerment program. We said that it should not be just, a rasmi. It cannot be a program for the sake of doing. No. The children should present it properly, and other school students also should benefit out of it, and every school should participate. The schedule of your presentation will be given to you, by Alia ma'am, right? Next is Akhlaq chat. We have already shared the theme for July is caring. So start implementing it. So with this, the next agenda is the action research. The procedure is to be understood by all the schools. So I request Dr. Amina Sayyida to take over from here. After that, our Samir will discuss about the TED talk which he was referring to. Thank you very much, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Allahumma salli ala Rasulil Kareem. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Jazakallah. So, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Alhamdulillahi alladhi hadana li hadha. Wa ma kunna linahtadiya lawla an hadana Allah. इन तमाम तारीफें अल्लाह रब्बुल इज्जत के लिए हैं जिसने हमें हिदायत की राह दिखाई। अगर वो हमें हिदायत की राह ना दिखाता तो हम बेशक कुछ न कर पाते। So I welcome you all in this session of action research, and the term itself is defining that we ought to be in action, and the problem is why we are not in action is since
You are not audible.
since long time, yeah, okay. So the term action research itself describes that we all should be in action, right? And that we are not. Okay, so what's the reason behind it? So being school administrators, being teachers, being practically handling all the students, we teachers take the role of consumers most of the times because the theories which are adopted in the school, mostly we take that from the experts who are actually not in the field, right? So in our sessions also, we have discussed what is educational research, because educational research started since the time the education itself came into existence, and especially this education system, what we are following today, right? So we have highlighted important role of educational practice.
Sorry. Okay. So, in the last sessions, we discussed the importance of educational research, and now we need to remember that most of the practices, what we practically implement in our schools, that comes from the educational practitioners, and that was a part of educational research. And this educational research is a form of traditional research. It is often conducted by universities or a group of researchers who has a lot of experience in the education. But ultimately, some of their practices, when now we are implementing, maybe that is unbiased, maybe that is came out after a lot of brainstorming and efforts. It is not a foolproof strategy in all the schools, right? So if we look into the educational research from this perspective, educational changes are mostly planned top down in a hierarchical process, right? The teachers and other school practitioners are seen as the recipients and consumers, right? We take it from the experts. They are out of our school. They play effective role, and the teachers, they play passive role. Okay, because the teachers, they are playing passive role because they are taking this strategy and their research findings and implementing in their classroom and their schools. Okay, so what is going on? What is lagging behind? There is a gap in practically the outcome of the result, because there is a separation between theory and action and between research and practice, right?
Do you have
As
a presentation
educators,
sort of
we
thing?
all know that we all experience a complex and dynamic classroom, right? We have interactions with a lot of students. Every year, a new set of students enter into it with their unique identities, unique mindsets, and unique behavior, right? And hence, a group of experts, when they practice and they give us some theories, that is not proven foolproof in our classroom environment and in our school culture. So we need, when we try to understand that our students, they have different social and culture, they are coming from different circumstances, they have a set of different failures, fears, dreams, etc. We cannot just rely on the educational research which is coming from the experts. So that's why, since a decade, this action research came into existence, and we have discussed this in the last sessions as well. So in the action research, what happens? The teachers themselves, who were very passive and they used to carry forward the research done and practiced and recommended by the experts. Now, what they are doing, they will review that also, they will implement that also. But what they will do, they will play an active role, and all the teachers and the school personnel, they will take the responsibility of the researcher as well. And now what they will do, they will implement the strategy which is given by the expert, and they will study their own practice within the classroom and maybe within the school. And most of the time, the research questions arise from the events, whatever they are organizing in the school, problems, whatever they are facing in the classroom. And sometimes they want to implement something very new that is not yet researched or practiced or given as a theory by any other expert. That they have their own type of set of theory that they want to implement in the classroom to enhance the learning of the student or to improve the teaching strategy of themselves. In this, the teachers, they will become the practitioners now, and they will carry out their investigations in a systematic way. They reflect on their own strategy, on the problems they have discovered, and they will analyze that critically. How they will analyze? Based on the strategy they have implemented, the result they have achieved through that implementation of the strategy. Because they are directly engaged, they are able to analyze and customize the intervention or the strategy, whatever they have done. So we have discussed that this action research is all about enjoining the theory and the practice. Because when we are taking any strategy or implementing any rule which is solely based on the practices of the experts, it may not fit for all. So we need a foolproof plan for our students on one-on-one basis, or for our section-wise or our school-wise tradition. So our teachers will become the practitioners while they are doing the action research. So what is the process of action research? We have discussed this earlier as well. Hope my screen is visible. We have discussed that action is flexible cycle of research, right? And most of the time, why outside strategies are not foolproof for us, because the problem which we are seeing, they can dig down and find the deeper solution. for it. So how we will do this action research? Action research is a flexible cycle of research in which what we will do, we will focus on one individual's or significant problem, and with that we will identify a problem and frame a research question. Then we will hypothesize, we will envision the result. Okay, for solving this problem, I will get this result with the intervention I do or the strategy I implement. Okay, for that, what I will do, I will do some the articles of the expert. So whatever educational research is done on the specific problem, I will go through all those. If somebody else has implemented some strategy, I will also find out that also. That we will call it literature review, and that findings will also become a part of our data. Okay, then we will start collecting the data, the status, current status of the problem, and what we are envisioning as a outcome. Okay, so we have a start point and we had a end point. Okay, so when we plan an action research, we will start with some data. Okay, out of my 10 students, my student Anna is unable to do her homework. In last time we have discussed, one of the students is unable to communicate, and this can go with the school as well. In some schools, we will encounter like a problem with the teachers. The teachers might not be up to the mark, or they are unable to upgrade themselves, or unable to cope up with the problems they are, or the challenges they are facing within the classroom. So the entire school will get involved in the action research, and that's on one-on-one basis, or in terms of class-wise can also take up this action research. So we'll start collecting the data by conducting some or the other tests. The test may not be a written test always. We may collect this data based on their previous records, maybe their previous result report cards, maybe their attendance registers, and maybe using or discussing with some other teachers who have already taught to that specific student, or for the specific subject, any problem we are facing, we can discuss it with the if any other teacher might have faced that issue or any other thing, whatever we are identifying as a research question, we can discuss it and we can frame it as a data, and we can count it as a data in terms of conducting a test, talking to the students, talking to the management, talking to the principal or the parents. These all will become a part of our data. Our attendance card, our notes, whatever we are taking of the students, the student profile, and the previous report cards may also become the part of our data. Okay. When we collect this data and we came up to a conclusion that this will become a research problem, so we will plan an action, and we will decide a specific period of time. Okay. It may vary from 1 week to 3 weeks, or it may prolong to an year. Okay, but we should have a clear timeline in our mind when we are starting, how much time we are going to invest in this action. Okay, and we will month at month 1, month 2, and month 3, and after each milestone, we will gather data, and at the last point, we'll again conduct one more test. We'll compare the previous data and we will compare the final data, so that we can analyze the strategy or the intervention that we have implemented, whether it works or not. See, in action research, it is now outcome. Success of any strategy is not the outcome. We are analyzing implementation. So success is now not our outcome.
Okay, sometimes we may fail because we have envisioned some sort of hypothesis we had in our mind. By implementing this strategy, we may get this outcome, right? So sometimes we will get that outcome, and that is the closure of the action research. Okay, if we are not getting that outcome or not reaching up to that mark, what we will do, we will not close the action research, we will change our intervention and we will change our strategy, because the ultimate success is to improve the standard, right? So strategy may change time to time, and that will become the cycle of the action research. Action research cycle 1 on the particular topic, action research cycle 2 on the particular topic. It may be 3. So in 1 or 2 or 3 cycles, we will reach to that outcome, whatever we have envisioned earlier. Okay. And for example, if the child is unable to read a sentence, if he is able to read a paragraph, that is ultimate our envisioned success. So in that, our strategies may change after in 1 cycle or 2 cycles. Sometimes we get this result in the first cycle, sometimes we get result in the second cycle. So whenever we are completing a cycle, we will compile the report and we'll submit the report for that particular action research. Okay, and we can restart it again, because our goal is to upgrade the standard and introduce a new strategy or intervene in a particular manner. Okay, so we need to introduce the theory and turn it into a practical method. Now, this is all about action research. So regarding this year action research program, as we have discussed earlier, and Anand sir also told you, team members have came up with some of the topics on which, like, most of the schools are facing challenges. One of the topics which most of the teachers have chosen was English communication skills. That is the biggest challenge in most of the schools. A group of teachers are facing this issue. So our this year action research common project will be, first project will be based on the teachers and to improve or enhance the English communication skills. In this, every principal and every school can recommend their teachers who are who wanted to upgrade their communication skills or who are facing any challenge in communicating in English. Okay, for this, as a pre-data, we may speak to the particular principal for the collection of the data. We will also speak to the teachers who are becoming a part of this program, this action research segment, and we will also conduct a written test. Okay, and the written test will be based on LSRW, because LSRW is listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills. Because any language to learn, we need to we need to have command on all these 4. So some of the questions will be based on reading, and some of the questions may be based on writing. And at some point, we may ask you to listen to a particular audio and tell us what you have listened to it. What's your finding in that? And you need to speak about yourself, maybe a story you can narrate in your voice. You can record and you can send us. So how we will conduct this test and when we will conduct this test, inshallah, next week we'll discuss with you all. And as a second topic, this is the first topic of the action research for this year, and the second topic will particularly go with students. So on this, some of the schools have shared their topics to us, and some of the schools, they did not responded. Many a times I have called some of the schools and I didn't get any response. Even I didn't get the callbacks. At times I didn't receive a single callback from their side. I left a message, but I didn't get any response. So maybe it's from my side, there is something missing. And I pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the improvement from both sides. Okay, and some teachers, they have responded to us, and some schools, they are actively participating, alhamdulillah, and some schools, they are contacting directly for to create an awareness about research and action research. And alhamdulillah, one school
is actively participating and I'm taking weekly sessions for them. So I request you all to be, when we are in this SEP, this is all about excellence. And, nobody is perfect here, and we cannot be perfect, but we can excel in our practices. So wherever we were the last year, inshallah, we will move ahead and upgrade our schools, upgrade the standards of our schools in terms of the response of all the stakeholders, in terms of their knowledge, their behavior, and their attitude, their skills. Inshallah, for any query, you can call me directly. You have the numbers. You have SEP WhatsApp group, SEP Action Research WhatsApp group. You have the phone numbers of coordinators. And I request all the principals to assign one coordinator for action research. And I request all the action research coordinators to kindly contact us. And you can contact me individually. You can ping me on WhatsApp. In the group WhatsApp, you can ping me on personal WhatsApp. Most of the time, maybe morning times I'm engaged, but post lunch, I'm available all the time till night 10 to 11 o'clock. So this is all from my side. Jazakallah khair.
Thank you, Dr. Amina. May I request now Samir bhai to take over? Sure.
Hello. Yes. Assalamu alaikum. Hello. Ajay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
we
Yes,
can
sir.
hear you.
Yeah. So after ma'am finishes, we have. Yeah. Can I start with my TED talk?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So Alhamdulillah, because I'm on the phone, my network is a problem. So I've already shared the presentation with Khaja Bhai. He's going to play it. So what exactly is this? Is all about productive failure, wherein how we can in our lesson design itself, we can have that we can get children to fail on a particular topic. When they fail on a topic, they know that they not know much about it. And so that height of stupidity from where you reach that you do not know much about a topic. And once they know the challenges, then alhamdulillah, the learning takes place. So this is a very good topic worth discussing within your staff rooms and within your meetings. So how to inculcate productive failure in our lesson. So this is the right time for the academic year when we are starting to teach. So in our topics, we could have these questions. If you see Dr. Fuzail's innovative techniques in education, this was one of them in that. And he has Genius Hour, warm up and warm down for students, how to have puzzles and tricks within your education. And this was one, how to include productive failure. So Khaja Bhai shared the sound also. So please have a look at this TED Talk. It's worth volume is not shared. आपको volume share करना पड़ेगा. Share audio on, yes.
Let me do that. Let me do that. Go ahead. I can listen.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, happens. We make mistakes, we fail, and it really sucks when we do. But we all know failure can be a very good teacher when it happens. So my question to you is this. If failure is such a good teacher, why do we wait for it to happen? Why don't we intentionally design for it? What if designing for failure could be the locus of powerful learning? What if we could design failure in ways that are actually productive for learning? And now, what if I told you that we now understand and know how to do exactly that? And we understand the science behind it as well. And I'm going to share a bit of that with you. But first, I want to take you back in time to your teenage years, if you remember. We're going to talk about teenage years. And we can't talk about teenage years if we don't talk about our first love. So indulge me, please. Close your eyes. All of you, close your eyes. Now, imagine and picture your first love. Go on. Picture first love. Got it? Okay. You can now open your eyes. Now, I don't know about your first love, but my first love was absolutely stunning. Would you like to see? Thank you for that enthusiasm. You asked for it. Yeah, it's weird. My first love was football. You see, as a teenager, all I wanted to do was play football, play professional football. And I trained really hard for it. And when I think back about the training days, the training philosophy, one thing stands out. We always used to train all the way to the limit, and then we'll push some more. So you do your strength training, endurance training, until your arms and your legs and your body buckles and you can't go on. And then you push some more. It's as if you were taking your body to the limit, and then you learn to push some more. Why would you want to do that? Because good things happen on the other side of failure. It was on the other side of failure that both mental and physical strength are optimized. It was on the other side of failure that the mind and the body can work together. They get coupled to optimize growth and performance. And if you think about matches, tough matches, ones that really go right down to the end, to the wire, how do you decide who wins and who loses? It's actually how you deal with the other side of failure. Unfortunately for me, my footballing dreams ended with an injury, and that was it. Which brings me to my 20s. And my 20s are a classic case in depression and failure. So after football, I finished up engineering school, and I wasn't particularly good at it. Then I had a startup, which failed spectacularly. And then I joined a consulting firm, which I absolutely hated. And then out of the blue, a teaching assignment, an opportunity to teach presented itself. I said, okay, other than football, for some weird reason, I could always do math. I don't know why. So I thought, okay, I'll teach math. So I took up the position. I became a teacher to teach high school children, or high school kids, or high school students mathematics. So as a teacher, my teaching philosophy was also relatively straightforward. I just thought, okay, if I could engage my students, if I could explain to them clearly as possible, if I could show them step by step exactly what to do, when to do, how to do it, that they would just get it. If only. Many of them just would not get it. They would not see what I was trying to show them. So I'll do it all over again. Explain step by step. And still, many won't see it. So I, for the life of me, just couldn't understand why weren't my students seeing what I was so desperately and hopefully clearly trying to show them? As you can imagine, teaching too didn't work out. And I was touching 30s. I had tried football, I tried engineering, I had tried a startup, I had consulting and teaching. I had literally failed at everything that I tried in the real world. And what do you do then? I did what any sane, rational person would do. I became an academic. A cognitive scientist, a learning scientist. And as a learning scientist, I wanted to investigate my failure as a teacher. Why weren't my students seeing what I was trying to show them? It was so clear. So I want to do a thought experiment here. Imagine you're in a movie. Now imagine the movie is really entertaining, very engaging. You're at the edge of your seats. Next, imagine the person who's sitting next to you is an acclaimed director. Someone who's an expert at making movies, good movies. You watch the movie, you come out, and I ask you a very simple question. Did you see the same movie as the director? And you say, Manu, what kind of stupid question is that? Yes, of course I saw the same movie. But did you? Did you see what the director saw? If you think about it, chances are you'd say no. Because even though you were watching the same movie, the director would see things that you won't even think about, let alone actually see them. And that's what decades of research in experts versus novices actually says that. Experts, given the same perceptual stimuli, see very different things from novices. Novices tend to be lost in superficial features, surface features of the phenomena. Experts tend to see deep structure, critical features. Because seeing is not simply a perceptual exercise. It's a cognitive one. And that was my aha moment. That's when I realized what I'd done wrong as a teacher. I had assumed in my so-called engaging lectures that my students were seeing the same thing I was seeing. I realized the first job of a teacher is actually not to teach. The first job of a teacher is to prepare the novice to see and then show them. So showing what you have as an expert is really important. Of course, no arguments there. But preparing the novice to first see what you want them to see and then showing it is even more important. That begs the question, okay, so how do we prepare novices to see? As it is in sport, it is in learning. Nothing prepares you to see better than failure. So let me make it concrete. Imagine all of you are trying to learn a new math concept. And imagine I am your math teacher, unfortunately. What should I do? Should I first teach you the concept, explain it to you, and then get you to solve problems? Instruction first, then problem solving? Or should I give you problems to solve first, and then give you instruction or teach you the concept? So the first method is called direct instruction. It's very simple. You don't know the concept, I'll teach you. I'll show you, I'll explain to you what the concept is, and I'll give you problems to solve. It's a method you and I are used to, we grew up with it, and it's still the most dominant method of instruction around the world. Direct instruction. The second method is not so straightforward. If you don't know the concepts yet, what's the point in me asking you to solve problems that require the very concepts that you don't know yet? Chances are you will fail. You won't be able to solve those problems. So why should I make you fail? That's evil. Unless there is an efficacy to that failure. And unless, and here's the important point, I can intentionally design that failure to be productive for learning from instruction afterwards. And that's what productive failure is. So, which method would you choose? Direct instruction or productive failure? Which method would you like to be in? To the parents in the room, which one would you like your child to be in? You see, 15 years ago, when I was beginning to ask these questions, the prevailing science, theory, wisdom were dead against productive failure. So how do you choose? As a scientist, we run experiments. We run all sorts of experiments. Controlled experiments, randomized experiments, quasi-experiments, classroom-based experiments. What did we find? When you look at basic knowledge development, There is absolutely no difference between productive failure and direct instruction. Both methods are very good at developing basic knowledge. And by basic knowledge, I mean this is the kind of knowledge that gets tested on exams and standardized tests. Important stuff, but basic knowledge. But when you start to probe whether students understand what they know and whether they can transfer what they know to solve novel problems, that's when productive failure starts to outperform significantly direct instruction students. And the effects are very strong. To put it practically, if you were learning via productive failure, it would seem as though you were performing 1 or 2 academic years ahead of direct instruction. Think about that. That's a huge effect. What's even more amazing? We found out that the more students fail, the more solutions they produce that do not work, the more they're prepared to learn, and the more they learn. That's amazing. Failure directly influences learning. And now you may say, Manu, are you the only one who's finding this? Shall we believe you? Are there others who find similar things? And that's a very important question for science. You see, the way science works is this. If I have a novel finding, the scientific community doesn't go say, hey, great job, Manu, well done, we believe you, yay. They say, hold on a minute, calm down. We don't believe you. We want to replicate what you do. Actually, they do more than that. They actually want to disprove you. Because do you know what the logic of replication is? It is not a pursuit of truth. It's actually a pursuit of failure. Let me make this clear. If I have a novel finding, if your repeated attempts to fail my work or disprove my work actually fail, then there is something to my work. And that's exactly what happened. Productive failure over the last 10, 15 years has been replicated, extended, reproduced across the globe. We still have some territory to cover. But the real message is that the findings are really robust. And I know, if you're trying to learn something new, and I catch myself as well, if you're trying to learn something new, it's very easy to take the path of least resistance. If you know it, just tell me. But we are learning that making learning easy does not necessarily ease learning. And in productive failure shows that actually making initial learning harder, more challenging, difficult, where learners struggle and even fail, actually prepares them to see and learn from instruction later on. Why? Why does productive failure work that way? Well, because good things happen on the other side of failure. It's on the other side of failure is what creates what I call 4A conditions of deep learning: activation, awareness, affect, and assembly. Activation. So we all build new knowledge based on prior knowledge. But you can't build on prior knowledge if you don't activate it. So failure does a really good job at activating your prior knowledge. You solve problems, you try to do whatever you can, it activates your knowledge. And then it gives you awareness of what you know, but also an awareness of what you do not. You find the limit of your knowledge. And if you have the right mindset, failure creates a positive affect. You're then motivated and interested to bridge that gap. So you've got your knowledge activated, you know what you know you don't know. You have the awareness and then the motivation and the affect to bridge that gap. Now imagine if at this point in time, an expert or a teacher comes in and then explains to you, works with you, builds knowledge, and puts it all together, assembles the whole thing for you. That's where powerful learning takes place. That's what deep learning is about. And that's what productive failure is about. Let me bring it home with another thought experiment. Imagine this time you're not teenagers, you're kids who love to play with toys, okay? So you're younger now, you're kids. Well, some of you have kids and others have friends and family who have kids, and some of us, quite frankly, behave like kids. So let's just imagine we're all kids who love to play with toys. Now, suppose I were to split you down this middle to two groups, group 1 and then group 2. To group 1, I come and say, hey kids, here's a toy. Would you like to play with it? Aren't they the enthusiastic lot? All right, if you want, here you go, play with this toy. Play as you like, enjoy. And then I observe how you play with that toy. And then group 2. Hey kids, here's a toy. Would you like to play with it? Much better. Learn, you guys. But wait, you must first watch me play with it. I'll show you how to play with it. Watch and learn, so I show you how to play with it. Okay, got it? Now you can play with it. Play as you like, enjoy. Now imagine if I asked you two questions, if I observe all these kids. First question, which group do you think would be more inventive, more creative in playing with the toy? Group 1, group 2. Thank you, now you're participating. You finally got the memo, huh? Right. Next question, what do you think happens in school? Have I made my point? You see, we've got to start thinking about knowledge, concepts, ideas. These are not physical toys, obviously, but these are mental toys, conceptual toys. And part of deep learning, inventiveness, creativity, actually comes from playing with these toys, tinkering with them, connecting them, exploring them, failing and flailing. If you want to learn deeply, you've got to be able to explore. You've got to tinker and explore and fail and flail. Why? Because good things happen on the other side of failure. Look, this is not an opinion, and it's certainly not a motivational speech. This is science. And the message is very, very clear. If you don't learn to fail, you will fail to learn. Thank you.
Maybe we can conclude. Are you there?
Sir is not there.
Okay. Right. Thank you very much. We saw a video. This same video could be played in your school and understand the context of that. And, Dr. Fuzail's morning sessions are really very educative. And these sessions happen in 5 zones, right? Now, Tamil Nadu is a separate zone. And we have, apart from Tamil Nadu, there are 5 zones. Dr. Fuzail speaks on different zones. If you're interested, you can take those slots and you can listen to him. It's really quite educative lectures he gives. So, inshallah, a better academic year ahead, inshallah, we'll have. And definitely there will be a lot of learning this year. And our team is working hard and trying to make every effort a meaningful one. Thanks for joining us.